This week in U.S. immigration news, we are going to cover USCIS extends COVID-19 related flexibilities, ICE is developing new ID cards for migrants, U.S. Supreme Court rules against Biden, California border park, water shortages affecting migrant shelters, the border's toll, 2 men indicted in human smuggling case. USCIS is extending certain flexibilities relating to COVID-19 through October 23, 2022 to assist applicants, petitioners, and requesters. Under these flexibilities, USCIS considers a response received within 60 calendar days after the due date for requests for evidence and continuations to request evidence or for notices before taking any action, if the request or notice was issued between March 1, 2020 and October 23, 2022. USCIS will consider a Form I-290B, Notice of Appeal or Motion, or a Form N-336, Request for a Hearing on a Decision in Naturalization Proceedings, if the form was filed up to 90 calendar days from the issuance of a decision made by the agency and if that decision was between November 1, 2021 and October 23, 2022. The Biden administration is creating a new identification card for migrant arrivals at the border to access immigration files and eventually be accepted by the Transportation Security Administration for travel. Officials say that the ID card will facilitate accountability in the immigration process. The card is expected to display information such as name and nationality as well as a QR code to access a portal containing the individual's relevant immigration information. The goal of the portal is to provide an easier way for individuals to update their information and check in with federal authorities as they go through the immigration process. The Department of Homeland Security aims to pilot the program by the end of the year. The Supreme Court ruled on Thursday that it will not allow the Biden administration to implement its immigration policy that prioritizes deportation of people arriving in the U.S. illegally who pose the greatest public safety risk. Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson dissented from the court's action along with Justices Elana Kagan, Sonia Sotomayor, and Amy Coney Barrett. This was Justice Jackson's first vote since she was confirmed by the U.S. Senate and joined the court on June 30. There was conflicting decisions by the federal appeals courts over a September memo from the Department of Homeland Security that directed agents to prioritize deportations only of those that had committed acts of terrorism, espionage, or egregious threats to public safety. The Federal Court of Appeals in Cincinnati overturned the district judge's order that put the policy on hold in a lawsuit filed by Arizona, Ohio, and Montana. In a separate suit filed by Texas and Louisiana, a federal judge in Texas ordered a nationwide halt of the policy and a federal appellate panel in New Orleans declined to step in. However, Ting Law Group can help you with prosecutorial discretion because it is still available. Advocates are concerned that the Border Patrol has no intention of reopening the popular Friendship Park. The park is located where the Pacific Ocean, Mexico, and the U.S. meet. Advocates fear that the Border Patrol will continue to use the pandemic as an excuse to keep the park closed. This area has been used to allow families and friends to meet and spend time together with the border barrier between them. Before the pandemic, Border Patrol agents would open the gate for a few hours on weekends, allowing small groups to go to the enforcement zone. Friendship Park is on federal land along the border, but access to the park is controlled by the state of California.
If you are new to our channel, welcome and please subscribe to stay in the loop. We offer free 15-minute consultations if your case is qualified, so we can point you in the right direction. Stay tuned for the secret code later in the show.
Tijuana has been rationing its water due to high demand and the lack of everyday water deliveries for its 2 million residents and will have to do so for the rest of the summer. The Agape shelter in Tijuana has a storage tank on its roof, but the water is rationed and the shelter tries to save as much as possible. Many migrants staying at the shelter have been unable to shower and most stores in the area are sold out of water. The state of Baja California controls the water but is faced with the problems caused by the aging pipes in Tijuana that sometimes break down. The state is also suffering from electric issues with pumps that deliver water from the Colorado River. The head of the state's General Services Office reported that the water shortages are due to the problems with the pumps, not a lack of water, which is causing the inconsistent water service. Data from the United Nations shows deaths along the border have spiked. the border wall has contributed to injuries and deaths from migrants attempting to scale it. This fiscal year through June has already been faced with 1.7 million migrant encounters due to the Title 42 expulsion policy. Migrants have been taking dangerous routes to try to enter the U.S. since they have been unable to request asylum due to the expulsion policy. There were 728 deaths last year recorded by the United Nations and 340 more this year. U.S. Customs and Border Protection has not published data on deaths on its website since fiscal year 2020. 2 men from Texas were indicted by a federal grand jury on Wednesday in connection with a human smuggling operation that left 50 adults and 3 children dead in and around a tractor-trailer near San Antonio last month. Homero Zamorano Jr. of Pasadena, Texas and Christian Martinez of Palestine, Texas were indicted on counts of conspiracy to transport and transportation of migrants illegally resulting in death, and of conspiracy to transport and transportation of migrants illegally resulting in serious injury. The 2 men could possibly be sentenced to life in prison or may face the death penalty if convicted on the charges of conspiracy to transport and transportation resulting in death.
Friends, show us some love and smash the like button. It doesn't cost you anything. If you have an immigration problem or need a second opinion because you cannot get a hold of your own lawyer, schedule a meeting with our team. Share information with our CARES team and they will help you get scheduled with our legal team. Now here's a secret code to unlock the free 15 minutes.